Hello, Daphne here with another video for you. This one's titled, No Need to Travel Halfway Around the World to Africa to See Wild Animals. They're available right here in North America. Before I get started, I'd like to talk to you about, I should say, I'd like to invite you to join our Facebook group, Second Half Travel Adventures. It is a wonderful group of people sharing stories about worldwide adventures. We would love it if you would consider joining our exclusive VIP group and traveling with us all over this beautiful world in which we live. Okay, so I want to talk to you today about Jackson Hole, Wyoming, a place where my husband and I love spending our summers. As you can see from this picture on the right, it is one gorgeous place with scenery that takes your breath away. The Tetons rise straight up out of the ground, and they are a spectacular sight. They remain snow-covered for most all summer long, believe it or not. Anyway, Jackson Hole is just one incredibly special place, and we love spending summers there. Part of the reason is you never know what you're going to see around the next curve. Excitement could be waiting, or there might be nothing. But when a wild animal appears, we are always thrilled at this experience. And it can happen often, or it can happen not that often, but it's always fabulous when we get to see these creatures in their own habitat, roaming free. Luckily, Jackson Hole is a valley 50 miles long with no barriers, so that allows these animals to go wherever they want, whenever they want. And speaking about going wherever they want, whenever they want, this is something that is a unique experience in Jackson. And that is a traffic jam not caused by animals, but caused by not caused by automobiles, but caused by bison. Here they are taking their time going across the road. I love watching bison traffic jams. Some can take 10 minutes, some can take 45 minutes, but I always get out of the car and take pictures because this is such a special happening that I enjoy. Well, maybe you want to call me a little bit crazy, but it's wonderful to be able to see these animals roam wild and free with no barriers to pen them up or keep them away. So that's, I guess, why I get the biggest joy out of this. And here is another picture of a bison next to our car driving down one of the roads in Jackson. Look at that beautiful view of that bison with the Tetons in the background. If that isn't one of the most gorgeous scenes on God's green earth, I don't know what is. Now here are bison somewhere in Jackson Hole that are about to, I don't know what they're about to do. I don't know why I started to say that. But one of the occasions that we got such amusement out of was while playing golf at Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis. There we were, waiting to take our tee shot when a group of bison decided it was time for them to cross right smack in front of us. So for a good 15 minutes or so, we watched as they sauntered across the fairway. Well, finally they were out of sight. I guess they didn't want to stay around for our next golf shot. Near our house was a beautiful pond, and it was home to a family of geese. And one day while we were there, this particular one decided to take off, and that was when I snapped this picture of this bird in flight. One of our favorite sightings by far is spotting moose They are just the most, I don't know, they're goofy looking animals, but we love them. Here is a mama moose who is swimming across the Snake River. I shot this from a bridge above, and we just love it when we see moose sightings. But as you can see here, this mama moose looks a little terrified. I hope that's not true, but she did make it to the other side, I'm glad to say. And as you know, we knew this was a mama moose because she does not have a big rack of antlers on her head. Those are just on male moose. And we often spot moose in the early morning or late afternoon. But every sighting is a thrill, and these are just wonderful animals that make their home in Jackson Hole. Now here is a mama moose and a baby moose beside us on one of the holes in Jackson Hole. So they are cooling off in the midday sun, and we stop to stare at them for quite some time. Oh, I don't know what it is about these wild animal sightings that get me so excited, but they do. And I just think it is such a thrill to watch them in their natural habitat. And nobody's bothering them. They don't worry about some hunter coming along and shooting them. They're just enjoying themselves. And we enjoyed watching them. Oh my goodness gracious, this is one of the most exciting sightings in all of Jackson Hole, and that is spotting a bear. They are rarely ever seen. We know you never see them in the winter because they're in hibernation, but when they appear and we just accidentally come across them, my face lights up and out comes my camera to make sure I catch the image before the bear disappears. And during the springtime, we see mama bears roaming around with their babies. And here is a mama bear with several of her cubs, although in this picture there is only one. But isn't that adorable? But you got to keep your distance when you spot them, because mama bears are very, and I mean very, protective of their babies. Here's an unusual animal that we spot in big herds all around Jackson Hole during the entire summer months. These are shy creatures. They're known as prong horns, but they are graceful, very graceful animals in my opinion, with their long legs and short tails. There are many of them all over the place during the summer months. We see them grazing in large herds, and I always love it. Well, I love it anytime we come across animals out in the wilderness of Jackson Hole, period. It's just an amazing, amazing, joyful moment. What excitement when the summer months are over and the elk return to the lowlands, or I should say the valley of Jackson Hole. We know they've returned because they have a very, very distinct mating call. And we can hear them, although sometimes we can't see them. On a bike ride one day, I came across this group of elk in a field near our house. In the winter time, in the winter months, 7,500 or so elk assemble in the Elk Refuge, which is a big, huge part of Jackson Hole, right on the edge of town. And in the wintertime, you can take a sleigh ride and mingle with all the elk in the refuge. And this is a picture of my husband and I before we were about to embark on one exciting adventure. Another unusual sight is always a bighorn sheep. Aren't these magnificent looking animals? Their summers are spent in the Grovant wilderness. In the wintertime, these intrepid creatures come out of the wilderness, and we have spotted them near the on the Miller Butte, which is next to the Elk Refuge. And they're sometimes difficult to spot right away because they blend in so perfectly with the landscape. See their colors here and how they're similar to what is in the background? Of course, I absolutely love getting out of the car and shooting pictures of these animals. I just can't tell you how much fun I have doing that. I don't care what animals they are. It's always such a big thrill for me. So, I guess to conclude, Mother Nature has produced a lot of amazing creatures, and many of them are right here in Jackson Hole. To come face to face with each one of them, wild and free, is just the most special experience. So, it's fair to say that wild animals are here in America, in North America, and all over North America. So you don't have to travel all the way to Africa. But one thing's for sure, in order to see these amazing creatures, you have to be in the right place at the right time.